So, any funny stories? You said,
Well, one with Art Pepper, what struck me as kind of funny. I'm sure he didn't think it was funny, but I picked him up from the airport. No, actually, at that time, I saw my wife at that time to pick him up. He said to me, "How will I know who he is?" And I said, "Well," I said, "You'll know who he is. He'll have a suitcase, I mean, a case with a saxophone in it. He'll be walking down the hall." And she said, "What should I do? Just walk up to him and say, 'Hi, are you Art?' Or, you know," I guess she was a little puzzled by the whole thing. And I said, "Well, you know, you'll figure it out." And so I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll meet you there at the airport. We'll be sure we got the right guy," sort of thing. And so, sure enough, we got there, and here comes Art. Well, this was after he missed the first airplane.
oh, so he was behind.
He was behind, yeah.
Mhm.
We waited another 2 hours. Comes down the hall with sunglasses on and smoking a cigarette. And finally we got him in the car, and he was still smoking the same cigarette. I kind of turned around and looked at him in my rearview mirror, and there was nothing but an ash there. I thought, any second it's going to drop. He's going to burn the car down, you know. But I finally mentioned something, and he let it out the window, and that was it. He went to sleep. He was tired because he had played the evening before.
Mm-hmm.
So I took him to the hotel, which was on St. Charles Ave. And we got there and checked in. He went upstairs and tried to get the key into the door, and it wouldn't work.
At the hotel?
Mhm. And I thought he was going to have a nervous breakdown because he just sat on the floor and just sort of, the key won't work. And I thought, oh God, this guy. Of course, I didn't realize that he was an infamous drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
At the time.
yeah, and he spent 20-something years in prison. But I was excited to play for him, and so finally we got the hotel people to come back up so we could open the door for him and go in. And the first thing he said to me is, "Do you want to have a drink?" And I said, "No." I said, I don't know what he was drinking, but I wasn't interested.
You weren't going to participate in that.
This was in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah.
And so he had, I thought it was kind of unusual. He had this thing around his neck that looked like the old banditos, you know, you'd look at that had, you know, bullets in one of these things.
Like a strap.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but they weren't. They were different kinds of pills and vitamins. And as it turned out, he had a pill for every major organ in his body.
Oh.
Yeah, so I thought the guy was going to actually die
Yeah.
while, you know, I was there, and I was going to be responsible as a university official to take care of him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And and he was really sleepy, and I said, well, this is going to be a real experience. I'm going to have to monitor this guy the whole time just to make sure he makes it to the gig.
Yeah.
So
Did he make it to the gig?
He did. I picked him up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I
Yeah.
knew there could be a potential problem.
Yeah.
I got there, and he was just sitting there going, "Oh, jeez, you know, I'm really tired." And almost had this kind of green pallor about him too, because of his liver. It was probably shot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
Not in a good way. So
when it was time to play, he got up on the stage and just looked at everybody out there in this audience. He turns around and he says, "Okay, we're going to do Donna Lee." Well, Donna Lee is a very, very fast bebop tune that Charlie Parker made famous. And he turns around and he plays this thing, and he says, "But I got it." He says, "You guys come in later." So he played for about 15 minutes. And it was the most amazing solo I ever heard in my life.
really, so
Yeah.
it was like a switch.
He came alive,
Yeah.
you know, and he was like that the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've mentioned before, the whole addiction thing and how that's affected a lot of musicians, and I think this is a great example of somebody who's
Yeah,
kind of
I-
affected
I-
by that.
I don't know how he got involved with it, but I'm sure it was many years involved. There were a lot of musicians that did. I think it was because Charlie Parker decided he was going to use drugs, and several musicians after that just felt that maybe this was something that enhanced the music in some way. But I can't imagine that it did, or if it did, it certainly wasn't long lasting because most of the people passed away or are dead as a result of the narcotics.
Yeah.
But there were several musicians that did kind of lose their way with drugs and alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say that. I mean, I played with a lot of them.